Hello everyone. So it's been a while since I made a video. I've been playing mostly standard, as you maybe know if you follow me on the socials. And I would say that was a kind of disappointing results. I think there was like, the margins are so small in Magic, and sometimes you may actually end up feeling that you failed when reality was not so bad, right? It was just we were like one wrong top deck or one mulligan away from actually doing, reaching your goals. So it's important to keep that in mind. So anyway, back to modern. We're posting a lot of skills content on the Patreon. You can go check that out. I will also post some skills content, but I also feel that there's not a lot of affinity content at the moment. I hope the sound is good. It's behaving a bit strange. I'm just gonna lower it a bit. So there's been a lot of affinity content on the internet, I think, and I think I was one of the ones that kind of pushed the deck and popularized it with Mengucci, and then now it's become one of the mainstays in the format, which is nice obviously to see. And going back to modern after not playing for a while, I don't really know what to expect. I know energy is big. I know probably some prowess deck is big. So this is my initial idea of how to build a deck for the current format. And this is just this is always how I do it. Like in standard, it's more like a complete exploration because I didn't know anything, right? But here it's like, okay, I know some of the things that are powerful already from the experience from before. So we're just gonna build something and then we'll tweak the numbers, change things. And so some of the questions that are in the back of my mind right now is the Spy of Industry slash Red Splash worth it? Is the amount of counter spells we're playing correct? Are we missing any kind of one-man artifact that we would like? Are we missing more top end? Or are we having too much top end? Etc. Those are the things I'm trying to figure out as we play, right? I think every time you test, you should have some of these questions in the back of your mind. So let me do a quick deck pick for those of you guys who are complete note to the deck. So Affinity utilizes artifacts like the artifact lands or all the zero drops to enable fast, powerful starts with cards like specifically Kappa Cannoneer. This is the main payoff of the deck, which is a 4/4 for 6 mana but has improvise, so you can tap your artifacts to cast it. Has ward 4, and it actually gets a +1/+1 counter and uncounterable every time an artifact comes into play, which is pretty easy when everything is an artifact, right? So this is kind of our main win con on the deck and the main reason to play the deck, I would say. And this deck is very well enabled by the broken mythic card Tamiyo from Modern Horizons 3, because not only is it like a great enabler for the deck, making a clue every turn, which you can tap to cast Kappa, it also has the secret mode of flipping itself to allow you to basically win the game on its own. So it's an enabler, a win con, and it's a 1-mana play. It also enables Mox Amber, one of the best cards in the deck for sure. And then we have Emery, which is a secondary threat, value threat, which is, again, enables Mox Amber, but most importantly, is like a 1-mana spell that your opponent has to deal with, right? And when you have a density of 1-mana spells your opponent has to deal with, generally they will break because they're not playing that many interaction spells your opponent normally. They're playing, at least in my experience, normally people play like 4 to 6 removal spells max, or 0, in some decks. Then we have a suit of 0 drops, Mishra's Bubble, and Mox Opal, of course, the main important ones because they give you mana and they give you just cheap artifacts. We have one Thermal Script. We used to play 3 when Breach was a thing, but I don't think it's needed to play 3 anymore. This card is relatively weak when it's not good. And then 2 Mox Ambers, which are enabled with both Tamiyo and Emery. Not the most strongest card, but it's nice to fill up the 0 drops, and also nice to cast Kappa with, nice to enable Kappa, nice to enable turn 1 Emery, turn 1 Sagas with Mox Amber, with Mox Opal, etc. Then I think the only reason we're playing white, at least in the main deck, is Portable Hole. Portable Hole is an answer to Frog, is an answer to Stony Silence, an answer to Guide of Souls, an answer to a lot of things that bother us. And at the same time, it's sort of a ramp spell because it allows you can obviously use it to tap it for Kappa, or it also gives you Affinity or like artifact count for Thought Monitor and Thoughtcast, right? So it's a fantastic card, specifically on the draw. I feel it's one of the most strongest turn 1 plays you can have, because it stops what your opponent's doing and enables your future plays, which is something that if you just play a Lightning Bolt and you kill the opponent, good, you stop what they were doing, but you haven't really prioritized your plan. But if you have a Portable Hole, you prioritize your plan and deal with your opponent's things, which is great. Then of the one-offs, fan-offs, I thought about Tormod Script. Soga Lantern is an alternative, Graveyard Hate. The nice thing with Soga Lantern is that it can cycle with Embry. So you can just keep bringing it back with Embry for like having a makeshift Mishra's Bubble. So you kind of works as your fifth Mishra's Bubble, your second Graveyard Hate piece. Quite flexible, quite nice. It also does go through Chalice of the Void on 0, which sometimes is relevant. Either Spellbomb just to do with big creatures. You can also return your own Kappa if some opponent, for example, like you're playing against a Solitude deck, they try to Solitude pay the Kappa value, and then you just bring it back to your hand. It's generally pretty good. HOMI is very good against all the Saga decks, specifically Titan, specifically. But you know, it can deal with a lot of things. It can be searched with Saga, so it means that if, for example, there's a Chalice of the Void on 1 on the battlefield, then you can use it to come down and kill it. And then Pithing Needle, you know, very flexible. I'm not sure this card is needed right now in the format, but I feel it's one of the best cards to have access to when you're playing a Saga deck. You know, it's good against Belcher decks, it's good against Yawgmoth kind of decks, Samwise kind of decks. In general, very strong, powerful card, right? And it also, again, enables our plan of playing artifacts, basically. And the last for which I think is one of the best cards in the deck. You know, it gives haste to the potent Tamios and Embrys, it gives haste to Kappa. It gives them ward as well. It gives them some more damage. It only costs 1 more to equip. This card is excellent. And then, you know, a lot of people will be asking here, where is the Shadow Spear, right? Like, why are you not playing Shadow Spear, Mr. MGG? And, you know, I'm a known Shadow Spear hater. And this is the reason. Although many game ones you will be able to win with Shadow Spear, right? Like, you know, construct, get Shadow Spear, equip, attack for a while, a bunch, and, you know, swing the ratio away. Many post-board games will be lost the same way because you'll do the equipping thing, they will kill your creature you try to equip to, and there's a huge tempo swing, and they will kill you on the crackback, or they'll do too much damage, and then they will kill the other guy when you try to equip, and it's just like a tempo sinkhole. So I don't really like Shadow Spear. I think it's actually a pretty weak card, and especially I don't like it post-board, right? Because the game's gonna get more scrappy, the game's gonna make more grindy, and having an equipment that I have to find something to equip, and I have to pay 2 mana to equip is really bad. You know, constructs are under pressure because people will answer your sagas. So basically, the only good target will be Kappa, and Kappa at that point you don't need trample, because you're already getting in there. And so basically, I really dislike Shadow Spear. On the other hand, I think one of these patches is the kind of the perfect card to have in the spot. Is good against a variety of decks. It's good to have as a one-off because you will not draw 3, right? You can only draw 1. That's the thing with one-offs. And it's just a powerful all-around answer to aggro decks and to other non-aggro decks, which I really like. You know, one of the questions I said is like, I would like to have maybe the 4th Metallic Rebuke, but I've seen a lot of people prioritize the monitor, so it makes me think that it could be that the game is a bit more grindy than it used to. You know, against Breach, for example, you didn't really have time to play too many thought monitors, but maybe here it's okay. So let's play 2. Maybe we'll miss it and add 3. Maybe we'll draw way too many, and then we'll be like, okay, 2 is enough, or 1 would be perfect. Then Sideboard, I think, you know, I'm not going to leave my house without 4 consigns to memory. I have them in my wallet all the time, just in case. There's a lot of Eldrazi running around. And then 3 Force of Negations, I feel is important also to fight the Wrath of the Skies decks. Dampings feel good against Titan, against the Eldrazi decks. It's a nice thing to slow them down. I'm not a big fan of it. Also, I could see myself cutting it for the 4th. Force of Negation, and maybe the 4th Dispatch. Wear and Tear, you know, General Artifact, Enchantment, Hate. I don't know exactly what I want it for, but it's fine. This is for the aggro decks, obviously, with Flare, which is a very nice card. Does not kill our very small constructs once a moon it happens. And then 2 more Dispatches, which I think is, again, one of the best cards. One of the best cards in the deck. So let's just jump right into a game, and this will be one game. I'll release the league 1 match at a time. This is something we've been doing on the Patreon. Has been working really well because it allows us also to talk through plays and be more focused. Rather, if I'm trying to do a whole league at once, I can also end up, you know, a lot of the time I will lose my train of thought. I'll get tired. You know, just talking to a computer, guys. I mean, sometimes it's tricky. So, you know, you see Zero Trophies. I hardly played any Modern. Yeah. And I'm starting a Substack soon to talk about my musings that are not scales related, and you know, maybe some of you will be interested on that. It will be completely free. I mean, it's kind of going back to my roots, like wanting to write articles and everything. Oh, look, we don't have the score thingy. We're on the play, which better way to start. Okay, so let's look at this hand. So this hand is actually pretty weak, right? Because we play this and this and this. We are not actually getting to the the artifacts we need for this. We can't really cast this. We can't cast a single one of our spells. So we're just gonna mulligan this one. Not an excellent hand by any means, but I think I don't want to go down. I put an awesome mulligan, but I don't really want to go down to 7. So I'm thinking whether I want to put a Mox Amber back, but I think I like the idea of holding a Metal Relic turn 3 and just trying to hope to get them with Kappa. So we'll keep this, put a Mox Amber back. This hand is among the weaker kind of hands you can have. But that's what it is. You know, we get to play this, and I like to play them out now for one reason only, is that a lot of people, I've been seeing a lot of Chalice of the Voids. And I mean, it could be good that, oh, maybe this is a Prowess deck, it's been very popular. Yeah. Okay. Ideally, we draw a Saga here. Not Rebuke, not amazing. I think this game's probably going to be a loss. But I think 1 to 5 was here a bit risky. I think just hoping to draw a line would have been very, very nice here. Right. We're going to counter this. This is, by the way, I think a mistake from our opponent. Right. We counter these, we take one more. Giving us time. We will also not mind drawing a Portable Hole. We can't really cast this again. It's 3 mana. We have 1 at the moment. I mean, you know, malfunctioning the deck does in this, but this is what you get, right? Sometimes you're playing a Mox Opal deck, you're playing a bunch of Mox Ambers, a bunch of Sipsirops, and you have a lot of cards that only work with it. Now they do the smarter choice, which is actually to plot the guy, which is good. Okay, this is a very good draw. So now at the moment we have 3 artifacts, so this costs 2, which is very nice, means that next time we can cast it. They play the show. I'm just gonna counter this. For 2 reasons. One is like, this is probably one of the main damage dealers. Second, specific direction. Second, like if they play this, and I could counter this, but we're already getting 5'd, right? It's not so good. So they get a land. Specific iteration, you know, people remember the card existed. DRC does not have Delirium yet, but it's very close. So I would expect this to attack me next turn. Okay, it's not too bad because that means we can play this for 1 mana, which is nice. Then we can actually take their sorcery away, which is also very nice. Meaning that we are not actually gonna get, most likely this is not gonna get too big. Then a Thoughtcast. Okay, we even draw the Tamio. We're gonna play it. I mean, it's tempting to equip. It's tempting to just attack, but I think blocking is also not the worst. So how's it gonna be next turn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So actually attacking looks kind of nice here. I could die also, which would be relatively unfortunate, right? Opponent's at 14. So I'm thinking maybe what I want to be doing is holding up this turn, attacking next turn, and then killing them the turn after. I think that will work, right? So let's just hold now. I think 1 point of damage could matter a lot for. This also has ward 1, and it does not die to lightning bolt right now, so it's very important. We took a bit of damage in Spire of Industry, like at least what, 3 or 4 damage we've taken. So the good thing here is my opponent could be forced to attack with this. If my opponent cracks this and puts a okay, that's a 9. So if they are forced to attack with this, which they will actually, then we can block and exile the graveyard. And then we get rid of this guy, which is kind of nice. I mean, I don't know, like it could be that we take just too much damage from this one. Dispatch Portable Hole probably would be the best draws in the deck. But I mean, we had a very non-functioning hand, and we are almost about to turn the corner here. We have that 3 here. So we're gonna block. This was smart not to attack here. We block. Obviously, my opponent could lightning bolt this. Okay, we're not gonna let them have a double strike, right? Okay, let's do this. Let's take the surveil. Bioenergy. Interesting card. I'm learning, guys, I'm learning with you. So they do this, and then we're like, nah, we don't like that you get double strike. And they have second one. Okay, so then we're dead. Alright. That skill is hard to beat though. Okay. Well, it happens. So this guy got double strike because they have two of those. Okay. We're gonna bring in our removal spells, which I think they're probably gonna be very nice. I don't see the reason to play any of these. I don't see maybe a reason to play these or these. I like the Graveyard Hate. I think Haywire Might will probably not be needed. I think Pithing Needle probably will not be needed either. Need to be careful not to, have too many. I think we can cut a Kappa in games like these. We also need to win the game, but let's cut a Mox number maybe? Nah, speed is nice. Let's cut the Thermometer. We got a bit of the upper end, right? Alright. So, let's see. Okay, I like this hand. And perhaps not the ideal hand, but, we almost beat them. I feel like we were very close to beating them, obviously. We took a lot of damage from the... DRC, correct. So I think we're gonna attack. There's no reason to take any damage here. We're gonna put that in the hole. Yeah, so we attack, and then we do this, take that. Now we're holding up Dispatch or a card draw, which I'm actually a fan of. I may actually just work to flipping the Tamiyo, because we have a secondary Tamiyo anyway. Especially my opponent plays a Slick Shot here, which they do, I think. Ah, they just put it. Okay, so that's nice because then I get to draw the card here. I think I'm not gonna, unless I draw a land, I'm not gonna be able to flip the Tamiyo, which maybe I kind of like, tapping here, getting lands, yeah. Going a bit slower. Look, we have Kappa. So I think we're gonna play Kappa, hold up, and replay a Mox Opal. That's gonna be the play. Then we have the Dispatch up also. Cool. So this is the power of the deck, right? Turn 3 Kappa. And of course, drawing the card allows us to find the Kappa. If we didn't, of course, we could flip the Tamiyo, but we would not have the Kappa right now. Now my opponent wants to deal with the preordain, sure. Of course, it's nice to flip Tamiyo because then we could get Dispatch back, but we also did not have a Dispatch, so. Lava Dart. Okay, they seem to be tapping out. Let's see if they actually sack this Lava Dart. Blocks. No blocks, you can decide. So you always want to give them priority because this is the last time they have, this last chance they have to do something. Mutagenic Growth, sure. So until they don't pass priority, you don't want to Dispatch here. Another Mutagenic Growth. Oh my god, opponent. That's a lot of damage though. 13. Something else? No. So then we're gonna Dispatch it. Very simple gaming. This is this is the power of this deck, right? Opponent concedes. Right, we're on the draw now. On the draw, I'm not like, I don't think I hate this setup, right? I think all these cards are good in a way. This is good. We have like 9 removal spells. I don't think I want more top end. I think 3 gaves is fine. Like if we draw 3, like if we draw too many gaves, it's also a way to lose the game, right? So game 1 didn't really cooperate, or maybe we should have gone to 5. I'm kind of need to learn like what the format allows. Sometimes formats allow for medium hands. Sometimes formats do not allow for medium hands, I think kept 7 here. Interesting hand in the sense that it is kind of what I was talking about. This is a medium hand, right? Like we have turn 1 Tamiyo. Of course we can go turn 1 Tamiyo, turn 2 Emery, but we're on the draw, right? We have 2 very expensive spells that we're not gonna cast probably until turn 4 or 5. And if they have an answer, like if they have 1 drop into answer for this, into 1 drop or something, we could be in really big trouble here. So I think I'm kind of fine with mulliganing this hand actually. It's actually a lot better. So we're gonna keep this. I like every card in this hand, but I think I could see myself putting back the Ether Spellbomb because I don't really see I have an answer. I think that the most important thing would be to find like a Mox Opal here to just be able to like vomit our hand. Almost for sure I'm gonna portable hold whatever they play. Like yeah. This is also fine to kill. Because you can always find a dispatch later on, right? Now it's a bit of a conflict, I would say, because on one hand we would really love to draw land. On the other hand, we would really love to hold a Metallic Rebuke. So Corey still got there. I guess they have a bubble. No, they don't. So if we draw a lane or a Mox Opal, I'll be super happy they didn't crack this bubble, right? If I draw, yeah, let's just accept this. Alright, Thermoscript. I think here I'm more happy. I think I'm more happy playing a Tamiyo. This is looking a bit bad, by the way. Tamiyo is a bit fine blocker, actually, especially if they're tapped. But they do play Mutagenic Growth, which is annoying. Yeah, they kill the Tamiyo. Now I think we need to bubble end of turn. Missing that Landra was really brutal, but we're doing the drawing. It's not Landra for them. Saga and Mox Amber, which is not bad. So there's now 3 artifacts here. So I could cast this Stopcast, or I could also hold a Metal Rebuke. Didn't find any nice cards to bring back. Let's hold a Rebuke here to protect the Embry. And then hope to find like Dispatch or another portable hole. So going Preordains, fine. That's gonna be 4 damage, 5 damage. Maybe it would have been worth it to play the Tamio, let them cutter, and then portable hole, right? You can see this pattern, right? Like if I portable hole the core steel cutter here will be very ahead, right? Because they're, I mean, they will have two Swiss spears, which it's not the same as having core steel cutter. We would have a Tamio attacking, right? They could have died the next turn, but if they don't kill the Tamio, then they don't play the cutter, right? So I think we're not in, like, of course they could have gone Swiss spear. Okay, they go top bottom. Marble. All right. That's now 8 damage. I mean, this guy's pretty ridiculous, eh? So we can go down to 1 basically. And then we need to draw a whip flare. So yes, if they have 2 free spells, we lose. We're learning, guys. They track them out first of all, sure. Figuring out what we're drawing. Lava Dart. Okay, we are dead. Right? Because this is 4, 8, 11, and they're recasting them dead. Oh well. We did not. I'm curious what we were drawing. Okay. So, some lessons learned. I think it's better to play the Tamio on turn in this situation, turn 1, just to either force them to deal with it or slow themselves down so they don't play the cutter. Like if they didn't have the cutter, they would have 1 less guy here, right? I think that's important. I think prioritizing, or maybe I think that was good. Like, I mean, in this case, I think either our decisions didn't matter. Opponent had a very strong hand. Like they had double Swiss spear, cutter, Lavadar, preordain. Like very fast start. Even though we had an interactive spell, we need to draw one of our whip flares. We needed to have some sort of staying power. All right, we lost, but that's okay. We learned. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.